Shalom, family. This is Hasanya, uh, coming to you guys, of course, with another video. And I'm in Kamasi, Ghana, and just looking at the sky this morning. It's so beautiful, and I don't know, just in good spirits. Just thinking about the Father's coming, and He's coming. He is coming, and it makes what you go through here, you kind of be able to do it and to go through it, because it's not going to last long. It's not going to always last, and there is going to be an end to what we're going through here. What I'm going through, the Father, He's coming to fix it. He's coming to fix everything. So yeah, just some happiness this morning with knowing that that is the end result. But shalom. Good morning. I'm glad that whoever is joining me this morning is joining me. Um, as I like to re-record things. That is what I seem to like to do, is have to re-record. And yesterday I did 2 recordings of what I have to now re-record today again. But it's okay. Like I said, I'm determined to do what I feel the Father's placed on my heart. So I will re-record. We had reached in the HalleluYAH scriptures, First Kings, or First Melakim, and so I'll be reading, hope y'all willing, through the 6th chapter today. So 1 through 6 possibly. But as always, we begin with a word of prayer, and I'm gonna pray what's in my heart, and we'll get started. Heavenly Father, thank you. Thank you, Father, thank you, Father. Thank you for waking me up this morning. Thank you for this beautiful place that I have come um, to be with my sister and brother and their daughter. Thank you for the Shabbat, Father, the day of rest. Thank you for today, Father. Thank you for the desire, Father, you placed on my heart to open my book, my history book, your book, my book of instructions, and just read what's there and try to understand, Father. Father, I ask that you grace me with wisdom and understanding and knowledge, and discernment. I ask you to lead me into all truth, Father. Help me to put your precepts together, so that I can gain correct understanding. Father, I ask you to hedge my mind, my body, my soul, my spirit, my dreams, Father, my thoughts, in your protection, Father. Position angels, Father, to protect me from the devices of the enemy. Father, help my thoughts to be positive and not negative. Um, Father, make my heart a heart of flesh and not stone, Father. Help me to die to my flesh daily, Father, and exhibit the fruits of the Spirit. Um, Father, please hedge this channel in your protection. Father, give me what it is that I need, Father, to propel the channel where it is that I see in my heart it going, or where I saw in my mind where it's supposed to go, to a 24-hour platform. Father, send all the help that I need. Father, forgive my sins, and help me close doors that have been opened because of sin that allows the enemy access to me. I completely denounce, reject, deny any covenants that I've formed with the kingdom of darkness, knowingly or unknowingly. And Father, I submit myself to you and your right ruling. And again, Father, I say thank you. I just say thank you for all that you're doing, for waking me up. Thank all you're doing in my life, all you've done, all you're going to do, all you have done. I say thank you, Father. I say thank you. You didn't have to do any of it, and you do. And I believe you're not done, and you're going to open up heaven's doors and continue to bless me with the things that I need and the things that I desire that are righteous. These are all things, Father, I ask in yours, in your Son's name. So be it, and may it be so. Okay. So again, we'd reached Okay, we'd reached first Melakim, and we're going to go ahead and get started. So first Melakim, I apologize. Okay, um, first chapter 1. And Sovereign David was old, advanced in years, and they covered him with garments, but he could not get warm. Okay, so his servants said to him, let them seek for our master the sovereign a young woman, a maiden, and she shall stand before the sovereign and be his companion, and shall lie in your bosom, so that our master the sovereign gets warm. And they sought for a lovely young woman in all the border of Yasharel, and found Abishag the Shunammite, and brought her to the sovereign. And the young woman was very lovely, and she was a companion for the sovereign and served him, but the sovereign did not know her. And Adoniah, son of Haggith, exalted himself, saying, I reign. And he prepared for himself a chariot and horsemen and 50 men to run before him. Now his father had not worried him at any time by saying, why have you done so? He was also very good looking, and he was born after Absalom. Okay. And he talked with Joab, son of Zeruiah, and with Abiathar the Kohen, and they supported Adoniah. But Zadok the Kohen, and Benayahu, son of Jehoiada, and Nathan the Nabi, and Shammai, and Ray, and the mighty men who belonged to David, were not with Adoniah. And Adoniah offered sheep and cattle and fatlings by the stone of Zaheleth, which is by En Rogel. He also invited all his brothers, the sovereign's sons, and all the men of Yehuda, servants of the sovereign. But he did, but he did not invite Nathan the Nabi, or Benayahu, or the mighty men, or Solomon his brother. Nathan then spoke to Bathsheba, the mother of Solomon, saying, and it's Sholomah here in the HalleluYAH scriptures, but it's Solomon, saying, have you not heard that Adoniyahu, son of Haggith, has become sovereign, and David, our master, does not know it? And now, come, let me give you advice and deliver your own life and the life of your son, Solomon, or Sholomah. Go immediately to sovereign David and say to him, did you not, my master, O sovereign, swear to your female servant, saying, certainly your son Solomon shall reign after me, and he shall sit on my throne? Why then has Adoniyahu become sovereign? Look, while you are still speaking there with the sovereign, let me come in after you and confirm your words. And Bathsheba went into the room to the sovereign. Now the sovereign was very old, and Abishag the Shunammite was serving the sovereign. And Bathsheba bowed and did obeisance to the sovereign, and the sovereign said, what do you want? And she said to him, my master, you swore by Yah, your Elohim, to your female servant, saying, certainly Solomon your son shall reign after me, and he shall sit on my throne. And now look, Adoniah has become sovereign, and now my master the sovereign you do not know about. And he has offered great numbers of bulls and fatlings and sheep, and has invited all the sons of the sovereign, and Abiathar the Kohen, and Joab the commander of the army. But he did not invite Solomon your servant. And you, my master, O sovereign, the eyes of all Yasharel are on you, to declare to them who is going to sit on the throne of my master the sovereign after him. Otherwise it shall be, when my master the sovereign rests with his fathers, that I and my son Solomon shall be considered sinners. And see, while she was still speaking with the sovereign, Nathan the Nabi also came in. So they informed the sovereign, saying, here is Nathan the Nabi. Okay, and Nabi, if you all will recall, means prophet. I had to go quickly to the back and just look up what the meaning was again. Okay. And when he came in before the sovereign. He bowed down before the sovereign with his face to the ground. And Nathan said, My master, O sovereign, have you said Adoniyahu shall reign after me, and he shall sit on my throne? For he has gone down today and has offered great numbers of bulls and fatlings and sheep, and has invited all the sovereign's sons and the commanders of the army and Abiathar the Kohen. And look, they are eating and drinking before him, and they say, Let sovereign Adoniyahu live. Okay, and the Kohen is the priest. I had to go look that up too. So Kohen is priest. Um, okay, but he has not invited me, your servant, nor Zadok the Kohen, which is priest, nor Benayahu, son of Jehoiada, nor your servant Solomon. If this matter is from my master the sovereign, then you did not let your servant know who should sit on the throne of my master the sovereign after him. And sovereign David answered and said, Call Bathsheba to me. So she came into the sovereign's presence and stood before the sovereign. And the sovereign took an oath and said, As Yah lives, who has redeemed my life out of all distress, even as I swore to you by Yah Elohim of Yasharel, saying, Certainly Solomon your son shall reign. Uh, okay. Certainly Solomon your son shall reign after me, and he shall sit on my throne in my place. Even so, I do so this day. And Bathsheba bowed with her face to the earth and did obeisance to the sovereign and said, Let my master sovereign David live forever. And sovereign David said, Call me Zadok the Kohen, or the priest, and Nathan the Nabi, um, and Nabi is prophet. I think that's what I just said. So priest and prophet. Um, and Benayahu, son of Jehoiada, and they came before the sovereign, and the sovereign said to them, Take Take with you the servants of your master, and you shall have Solomon my son ride on my own mule, and take him down to Gihon. And there Zadok the Kohen or priest, I think it is, and Nathan the Nabi. Hold on, let's get it right. Nabi is prophet, and Kohen is priest. Okay. Okay. So, oh my gosh, I lost it just like that. Okay, and there is Zadok the Kohen and Nathan the Nabi, so priest and prophet, shall anoint him sovereign over Yasharel, and blow the horn, and say, Let sovereign Solomon live. And you shall come up after him, and he shall come and sit on my throne, and he shall reign in my place. For I have appointed him to be ruler over Yasharel and over Yehuda. And Benayahu, son of Jehoiada, answered the sovereign and said, So be it. So says Yah, Elohim of my master the sovereign. As Yah has been with my master the sovereign, so let him be with Solomon, and make his throne greater than the throne of my master sovereign Dawid. Then Zadok the Kohen and Nathan the Nabi and Benayahu son of Jehoiada and the Kerethites and the Pelethites went down and had Solomon ride on sovereign David's mule and took him to Gihon. And Zadok the Kohen took a horn of oil from the tent and anointed Solomon. And they blew the horn, and all the people said, Let sovereign Solomon live. And all the people came up after him, and the people played the flutes and rejoiced with great joy, so that the earth was split by their noise. And Adoniyahu and all the guests who were with him heard it, and as they had finished eating, and Joab heard the sound of the horn and said, Why is the city in such a noisy uproar? And he was still speaking. Then see Jonathan came, son of Abiathar the Kohen, and Adoniah said to him, Come in, for you are a brave man, and you bring good news. And Jonathan answered and said to Adoniah, No, our master sovereign David has made Solomon sovereign, and the sovereign has sent with him Zadok the Kohen, and Nathan the Nabi, and Benaiah son of Jehoiada, and the Kerethites and the Pelethites, and they had him ride on the sovereign's mule. And Zadok the Kohen and Nathan the Nabi have anointed him sovereign at Gihon, and they have gone up from there rejoicing, and the city is moved. This is the noise you heard. And further, Solomon sits on the throne of the reign. And further, the servants of the sovereign have gone to Barak, our master sovereign David, saying, Let our Elohim make the name of Solomon better than your name, and his throne greater than your throne. And the sovereign bowed himself on the bed. And the sovereign also said thus, Barak be Yah Elohim of Yasharel, who has given to sit on my throne this day while my eyes see it. And all the guests who were invited by Adoniah were afraid and rose, and each one went his way. Hmm. And Adoniah was afraid of Solomon and rose and went and took hold of the horns of the altar. And it was reported to Solomon, saying, Look, Adoniah is afraid of sovereign Solomon. And look, he has taken hold of the horns of the altar, saying, Let sovereign Solomon swear to me today that he does not put his servant to death with the sword. And Solomon said, If he proves himself a worthy man, not one hair of him is going to fall to the earth. But if evil is found in him, then he shall die. And sovereign Solomon sent, and they brought him down from the altar, and he came and fell down before sovereign Solomon. And Solomon said to him, Go to your house. Chapter 2. And the days of David drew near to die, and he commanded Solomon his son, saying, I am going the way of all the earth, and you shall be strong and be a man, and guard the charge of Yah your Elohim, to walk in his ways, to guard his laws, his commands, his right rulings, and his witnesses, as it is written in the Torah of Moshe, so that you do wisely all that you do, and wherever you turn, so that Yah establishes his word which he spoke concerning me, saying, If your sons guard their way to walk before me in truth with all their heart and with all their being, saying, There is not to cease a man of yours on the throne of Yasharel. And also, you know what Joab, son of Zeruiah, did to me, and what he did to the two commanders of the armies of Yasharel, to Abner, son of Ner, and Amasa, son of Yether. Then he slew them and shed the blood of battle in peace, and put the blood of battle on his belt that was around his waist, and on his sandals that were on his feet. So act according to your wisdom, and do not let his gray hair go down to the grave in peace. But show kindness to the sons of Barzillai the Gileadite, and let them be among those who eat at your table, for they came to me when I fled from Absalom your brother. And see, with you is Shimei, son of Gera, the Benjamite from Baharam, who cursed me with a grievous cursing in the day when I went to Mahanaim. But he came down to meet me at the Yarden, and I swore to him by Yah, saying, I shall not put you to death with the sword. And now do not leave him um, unpunished, for you are a wise man, and know what you should do to him, and shall bring his gray hair down to the grave with blood. And David slept with his fathers and was buried in the city of David. And the days that David reigned over Yasharel were 40 years. He reigned 7 in Hebron, and in Jerusalem he reigned 33 years. And Solomon sat on the throne of his father David, and his reign was firmly established. And Adoniah, son of Haggith, came to Bathsheba, the mother of Solomon, and she said, Do you come in peace? And he said, Peace. And he said, I have a word for you. And she said, Speak. And he said, You know that the reign was mine, and all Yasharel had turned their faces toward me, that I should reign. But the reign has been turned around and has become my brother's, for it was from Yah. And now I am making one request of you. Do not refuse me. And she said, She said to him, "Say it." And he said, "Please speak to Sovereign Solomon, for he would not refuse you to give me Abishag the Shunammite as wife." And Bathsheba said, "Good, let me speak for you to the sovereign." And Bathsheba came to Sovereign Solomon to speak to him for Adoniah. And the sovereign rose up to meet her and bowed down to her and sat down on his throne and had a throne put for the sovereign's mother. So she sat at his right hand. And she said, "I am making one request, one small request of you. Do not refuse me." And the sovereign said to her, "Ask it, my mother, for I do not refuse you." Then she said, "Let Abishag the Shunammite be given to Adoniah, your brother, as wife." And Sovereign Solomon answered and said to his mother, "Now why do you ask Abishag the Shunammite for Adoniah? Ask for him the reign also, for he is my older brother, for him, and for Abiathar the Kohen, and for Joab son of Zeruiah." And Sovereign Solomon swore by Yah, saying, "Elohim does so to me, and more also, if Adoniah has not spoken this word against his own life. And now, as Yah lives, who established me and put me on the throne of David my father, and who has made me a house, as he promised, Adoniah shall be put to death today." And Sovereign Solomon sent by the hand of Benaiah, son of Jehoiada, and he fell upon him, and he died. Then the sovereign said to Abiathar the Kohen, "Go to Anathoth, to your own fields, for you deserve death. But I do not put you to death at this time, because you bore the ark of the Adon Yah before my father David, and because you were afflicted in all my father was afflicted in." So Solomon dismissed Abiathar from being Kohen to Yah, hmm, to fill the word of Yah which he spoke concerning the house of Eli at Shiloh. And news came to Joab, for Joab had turned aside after Adoniah, though he did not turn aside after Absalom. And Joab fled to the tent of Yah and took hold of the horns of the altar. And the report came to Sovereign Solomon that Joab had fled to the tent of Yah, and see, he is by the altar. Then Solomon sent Benaiah, son of Jehoiada, saying, "Go fall on him." So Benaiah came to the tent of Yah and said to him, "Thus said the sovereign, come out." And he said, "No, for here I die." And Benaiah brought back word to the sovereign, saying, "Thus said Joab, and thus he answered me." And the sovereign said to him, "Do as he has said, and fall on him, and you shall bury him, so that you take away from me and from the house of my father the blood which Joab shed without cause. Thus Yah should return his blood on his head, because he had fallen on two men more righteous and better than he, and he slew them with the sword, while my father David did not know it. Abner, son of Ner, commander of the army of Yasharel, and Amasa, son of Yether, commander of the army of Yehuda. Oh, okay. So he's saying he killed those men. Okay, so shall their blood return upon the head of Joab and upon the head of his seed forever, but upon David and his seed, upon his house and his throne, there is to be peace forever from Yah. Then Benaiah, son of Jehoiada, went up and fell upon him and put him to death, and he was buried in his own house in the wilderness. And the sovereign put Benaiah, son of Jehoiada, in his place over the army. And the sovereign put Zadok the Kohen in the place of Abiathar. And the sovereign sent and called for Shammai and said to him, "Build yourself a house in Jerusalem and dwell there, and do not go out from there anywhere." Okay. "And it shall be on the day you go out and pass over the Wadi Kidron, know for certain that you shall die. Your blood is on your own head." And Shammai said to the sovereign, "The word is good. As my master the sovereign has said, so your servant does." So Shammai dwelt in Jerusalem many days. And it came to be at the end of 3 years that two slaves of Shammai fled to Achish, son of Maacah, sovereign of Gath, and they informed Shammai, saying, "See, your slaves are in Gath." And Shammai rose up and saddled his donkey and went to Achish at Gath to look for his slaves. And Shammai went and brought his slaves from Gath. And Solomon was told that Shammai had gone from Jerusalem to Gath and had come back. So the sovereign sent and called for Shammai and said to him, Did I not make you swear by Yah and warn you, saying, Know for certain that on the day you leave to go anywhere, you shall certainly die? And you said to me, The word I have heard is good. And why have you not guarded the oath of Yah and the command that I gave you? The sovereign also said to Shammai, You shall know all the evil that your heart has known, and you did to my father David, and Yah shall return your evil on your own head. But sovereign Solomon is Barak, and the throne of David is established before Yah forever. So the sovereign ordered Benaiah, son of Jehoiada, and he went out and fell on him, and he died. And the reign was established in the hand of Solomon. Okay, chapter 3. And Solomon joined in marriage with Pharaoh, sovereign of Mitzrayim, and took the daughter of Pharaoh and brought her to the city of David until he had completed building his own house and the house of Yah and the wall all around Jerusalem. Only the people slaughtered at the high places, for the house for the name of Yah had not been built until those days. And Solomon loved Yah, walking in the laws of his father David, except that he slaughtered and burned incense at the high places. And the sovereign went to Gabon to slaughter there, for that was the great high place. Solomon offered 1,000 burnt offerings on that altar. And Yah appeared Gabon, Yah appeared to Solomon in a dream by night, and Elohim said, Ask what I should give you. And Solomon said, You have shown great kindness to your servant David my father, and he has walked before you in truth and in righteousness and in uprightness of heart with you. And you have guarded for him this great kindness and gave him a son to sit on his throne as it is this day. And now, O Yah, my Elohim, you have appointed your servant to reign instead of my father David. But I am a little child, and I do not know how to go out or to come in. And your servant is in the midst of your people, whom you have chosen, a great people, too numerous to be numbered or counted. Shall you then give to your servant an understanding heart to rule your people, to discern between good and evil? For who is able to rule this great people of yours? And the word was good in the eyes of Yah that Solomon had asked this. So Solomon asked, uh, oops, hold on. And the word was good in the eyes of Yah that Solomon had asked this. So Elohim, asked him, said to him, because you have asked this and have not asked for long life for yourself, nor have asked riches for yourself, nor have asked the life of your enemies, but have asked for yourself discernment to understand right ruling. See, I shall do according to your words. See, I shall give you a wise and understanding heart, so that there was none like you before you, and none like you shall arise after you. And I shall also give you what you have not asked, both riches and esteem, so that there shall not be anyone like you among the sovereigns of your days. And if you walk in my ways, to guard my laws and my commands, as your father David walked, then I shall prolong your days. And Solomon awoke, and see, it was a dream. And he came into Jerusalem and stood before the ark of the covenant of Yah, and offered up burnt offerings and made peace offerings. And he made a feast for all of his servants. Then two women whores came to the sovereign and stood before him. And one woman said, Oh, my master, this woman and I dwelt in the same house, and I gave birth while she was in the house. And it came to be the third day after I had given birth that this woman also gave birth. And we were together. There was no one else with us in the house, only the two of us in the house. Then this woman's son died in the night because she lay on him. And she rose up in the middle of the night and took my son from my side, while your female servant slept, and laid him in her bosom and laid her dead child in my bosom. And I rose up in the morning to nurse my son and saw he was dead. But I looked at him closely in the morning and saw he was not my son whom I had born. But and the other woman said, no, but the living one is my son, and the dead one is your son. And the first woman said, no, for the dead one is your son, and the living one is my son. And they spoke before the sovereign, and the sovereign said, the one says, this is my son who lives, and your son is the dead one, while the other says, no, for your son is the dead one, and my son is the living one. And the sovereign said, bring me a sword. So they brought a sword before the sovereign, and the sovereign said, divide the living child in two, and give half to one and half to the other. And the woman whose son was living spoke to the sovereign, and for she was overcome with compassion for her son. And she said, oh, my master, give her the living child, and by no means kill him. But the other said, let him be neither mine nor yours, but divide him. And the sovereign answered and said, give the first woman the living child, and by no means kill him. She is his mother. And all Yasharel heard of the right ruling which the sovereign had rendered, and they revered the sovereign, for they saw that the wisdom of Elohim was in him to do right ruling. Okay, chapter 4. And it came to be that sovereign Solomon was sovereign over all Yasharel. And these were his chief officials: Azar Yahu, son of Zadok the Kohi, Elihoreph, and Ahiah, sons of Shisha, scribes, Jehoshaphat, son of Ahilud, Ahilud, the recorder, and Benayahu, son of Jehoiada, over the army, and Zadok and Abiathar the Kohanim, and Arzaryahu, son of Nathan, over the offices, Zabud, son of Nathan, a Kohen, friend of the sovereign, and Ahishar over the household, and Adoniram, son of Abda, over the compulsory labor. And Solomon had 12 governors over all Yasharel who provided food for the sovereign and his household. Each one made provisions for 1 month of the year, and these were their names: Ben-Hur in the mountains of Ephraim, Ben-Darker, and Makatz, and Sha'albin, and Beth Shemesh, and Elon, Beth Hanan, Ben Hesed, and Arubath, Sukkah, and all the land of Herphur were his. Ben Abinadab, all the height of Dor, Tephath, the daughter of Shulam of Solomon, became his wife. Okay. Baana, son of Ahulad, and Ta'anak, and Megiddo, and all Beth Shean, which is beside Zarethan, below Israel, from Beth Shean to Abel Mohilah, as far as the other side of the Yokneam. Ben Geber and Ramoth, Gilad, the towns of Yair, son of Manasseh, and Gilad were his. The portion of Argob and Bashan, 60 large cities with walls and bronze gate bars were his. Hmm. Ahinadab, son of Iddo, in Mahanaim, Ahamaatz in Naphtali. He also took Basmath, the daughter of Solomon, as wife, Baana, son of Hushai, in Asher, and in Alath, Jehoshaphat, son of Peruah, in Issachar, Shimei, son of Elah, and Benjamin, Gibber, son of Uri, in the land of Gilad, and the land of Sihon, sovereign of the Amorites, and of Og, sovereign of Bashan, and one governor was in the land. Yehuda and Yasharal were as numerous as the sand by the sea, eating and drinking and rejoicing. And Solomon was ruling over all realms from the river to the land of the Pelishites as far as the border of Mitzrayim. They did task work and served Solomon all the days of his life. And Solomon's food supply for one day was 30 cores of fine flour, 60 cores of meal, 10 fatted cattle, and 20 cattle from the pastures, and 100 sheep, besides deer and gazelles and roebucks and fatted fowl. For he was right ruling over all on this side of the river to from Tifsa even to Asa, over all the sovereigns on this side of the river, and he had peace on all sides around about him, or all sides round about him. And Yehuda and Yasharal dwelt safely, each man under his vine and his fig tree, from Dan as far as Beersheba, all the days of Solomon. And Solomon had 40,000 stalls of horses for his chariots, and 12,000 horsemen. And these governors, each one in his month, provided food for sovereign Solomon, and for all who came to the table of sovereign Solomon. There was no lack in their supply. Hmm. They also brought barley and straw to the appointed place for the horses and steeds, each one according to his right ruling. And Elohim gave Solomon exceeding great wisdom and understanding and largeness of heart, led like the sand of the seashore. And Solomon's wisdom excelled the wisdom of all the men of the east and all the wisdom of Mitzrayim. For he was wiser than all men, then Athan, then Ezrahite, and Haman, and Calco, and Darda, the sons of Mahal. And his name was in all the nations round about. And he spoke 3,000 proverbs, and his songs were 1,005. And he spoke of trees, from the cedar tree of Lebanon even to the hyssop that springs out of the wall. And he spoke of beasts and of birds and of creeping creatures and of fish. And there came from all peoples, from all the sovereigns of the earth who had heard of his wisdom, to hear the wisdom of Solomon. Chapter 5. And Hiram, sovereign of Zor, sent his servants to Solomon, because he heard that they had anointed him sovereign in place of his father. And Hiram had always loved David. And Solomon sent to Hiram, saying, You know, my father David was unable to build a house for the name of Yah, his Elohim, because of the battles which were all around him, until Yah put them under the soles of his feet. But now Yah, my Elohim, has given me rest all around. There is neither adversary nor evil incident. And see, I intend to build a house for the name of Yah, my Elohim, as Yah spoke to my father David, saying, Your son, whom I put on your throne in your place, he builds a house for my name. And now command that they cut down cedars for me from Lebanon, and let my servants be with your servants, and let me pay you wages for your servants according to whatever you say. For you know there is none among us who knows to cut timber like the Sidonians. And it came to be, when Hiram heard the words of Solomon, that he rejoiced greatly and said, Barak be Yah this day, for he has given David a wise son over his great people. And Hiram sent to Solomon, saying, I have heard that which you sent me. Let me do all you desire concerning the cedar and cypress logs. Let my servants bring them down from Lebanon to the sea. Then I put them in rafts by the sea to the place you direct me. And I shall spread them out there. Then you take them up while you do my desire by giving food for my household. And Hiram gave Solomon cedar and cypress logs, all his desire. Cedar and cypress logs. Okay, and Solomon gave Hiram 20,000 cores of wheat as food for his household, and 20 cores of pressed oil. Thus Solomon gave to Hiram year by year. Oh, okay. 20 quarters of pressed oil and wheat. Okay. And Yah gave Solomon wisdom, and he promised him, and there was peace between Hiram and Solomon, and the two of them made a covenant. And sovereign Solomon raised up compulsory labor out of all Yasharel, and the compulsory labor was 30,000 men. And he sent them to Lebanon, 10,000 a month by courses. They were 1 month in Lebanon, 2 months at home. And Adonai Adoniram was over the compulsory labor, and Solomon had 70,000 bearing burdens and 80,000 hewing in the mountains, besides 3,300 from the chiefs of Solomon's deputies who were over the work, those ruling over the people who labored in the work. And the sovereign commanded, and they brought large stones, precious stones, to lay the foundation of the house with the hewn stones. And Solomon's builders and Hiram's builders and the men of Gebal hewed and prepared timber and stones to build the house. Chapter 6. And it came to be in the 480th year after the children of Yasharel had come out of the land of Mitzrayim, and the 4th year of the reign of Solomon over Yasharel, in the month of Zil, which is the 2nd month, that he began to build the house of Yah. And the house which sovereign Solomon built for Yah was 60 amma long, and 20 amma, and 20 wide, and 30 amma high. And the porch at the front of the heichal of the house was 20 amma long, according to the breadth of the house, and its width 10 amma from the front of the house. And he made for the house windows with narrow frames. And against the walls of the house he built rooms all around the walls of the house, all around the heichal and the speaking place. Thus he made side rooms all around. The lowest side room was 5 amma wide, and the middle one was 6 amma wide, and the third was 7 amma wide, for he made narrow ledges around the outside of the house, so as not to lay hold on the walls of the house. And the house, when it was being built, was built with finished stone made ready beforehand, so that no hammer or chisel or any iron tool was heard in the house while it was being built. Wow. The doorway for the side room was on the right side of the house, and they went up by stairs to the middle side rooms, and from the middle to the third. So he built the house and completed it, and he paneled the house with beams and boards of cedar. And he built the side rooms of the structure against all the house, even 5 amma high, and they were fastened to the house with cedar beams. And the word of Yah came to Solomon, saying, This house which you are building, if you walk in my laws and do my right rulings, and shall guard all my commands, and walk in them, then I shall confirm my word with you, which I spoke to your father David, and shall dwell in the midst of the children of Yasharel, and not forsake my people Yasharel. So Solomon built the house and completed it. And he built the walls of the house inside the cedar boards. From the floor of the house to the ceiling, he paneled them on the inside with wood, and covered the floor of the house with planks of cypress. And he built 20 amma at the rear of the house, from floor to the walls, with cedar boards. And he built it inside as the speaking place, as the most Kadesh place. And the house was 40 amma. It is the hekel before it. And the cedar for the house inside was carved with ornaments and open flowers. All was cedar, not a stone was seen. Okay. And he prepared the speaking place in the midst of the house, to place the ark of the covenant of Yah there. And the front of the speaking place was 20 amma long, and 20 amma wide, and 20 amma high. And he overlaid it with refined gold, and overlaid the altar of cedar. And Solomon overlaid the inside of the house with refined gold, and made gold chains pass over the front of the speaking place, and overlaid it with gold. Thus he overlaid the entire house with gold, until the entire house was completed. And the entire altar was that was by the speaking place he overlaid with gold, and the inside of the speaking place he made two cherubim of olive wood, 10 amma high, and one wing of the cherub was 5 amma, and the other wing of the cherub 5 amma, 10 amma from the tip of one wing to the tip of the other. And the other cherub was 10 amma. Both cherubim were of the same size and shape. The height of one cherub was 10 amma, and so was the other cherub. And he placed the cherubim in the midst of the inner house, and they stretched out the wings of the cherubim so that the wing of the one touched one wall, and the wing of the other cherub touched the other wall, and their wings touched each other in the middle of the room. Wow. And he overlaid the cherubim with gold, and he carved all the walls of the house all around, both inside and outside, with carved figures of cherubim and palm trees and open flowers. And he overlaid the floor of the house with gold, inside and outside. And for the entrance of the speaking place, he made doors of olive wood, the lintel doorposts a fifth. And the two doors were of olive wood, and he carved on them figures of cherubim and palm trees and open flowers, and overlaid them with gold. Please forgive my thoughts, Father. And he spread the gold on the cherubim and on the palm trees. Okay, and so he made doorposts for the door of the Haikol of olive wood, a fourth part. Okay, hold on. I'm gonna pause this so I can look up Haikol. Okay, so Haikol means temple. Temple. Okay, so now I've got to find where I was. Um, oh my goodness. I'm sorry. Hold on. Okay, here. Okay, so we're at First Kings chapter 6, verse 34. And the two doors were of cypress wood, the two leaves of the one folded, and two leaves of the other door folded. And he carved cherubim and palm trees and open flowers and overlaid them with gold, laid smoothly on the carved work. Hmm. And he built the inner courtyard with 3 rows of hewn stone and a row of cedar beams. In the 4th year, the foundation of the house of Yah was laid in the month of Ziv. In the 11th year, in the month of Bul, the 8th month, the house was completed in all its matters and according to all its plans. Thus he built it for 7 years.